Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What is up, Dodgers Nation? We got ourselves a National League Division Series preview, super mega show, delicious, super happy, fun time coming at you live. I am Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. This guy is Douglas McCain, DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Guys, welcome to Blue Heaven. Cheers, and thank you to our friends over at Jim Beam. Oh, what a good crack for getting us through the next hour or so of great Dodgers talk. Douglas, how the hell are you? I've spent all day with you, but I want to know how you're doing.
I want to get this postseason underway. I saw my doctor. I got my heart rate checked. He says I'm good to go. Got my brown paper bag ready. I'm ready for Dodgers stress ball. I'm ready for the anxiety, the ups and downs, but I'm just ready to get this thing kicked off because it feels like we've been waiting all season, all year for another opportunity to win the World Series once again, and it all begins tomorrow. It really feels like Christmas Eve for me.
This is what we play for.
This is what we play for, yeah.
Specifically, yes. This is what us folks like us all play for. Guys, drop into the comments. Let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation tonight. Let us know if you're watching Monday Night Football. I don't even know if I'm legally allowed to say that, but the football is on over there. So if you see my eyes go that way, it's probably because Derek Carr dropped the ball. But let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation. Drop your area codes. Drop where your cities, all that kind of stuff. We want to know where you guys are rocking with us tonight on today's show. The Dodgers face the Padres, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of banter and thoughts on facing the San Diego Ball Club. We got the latest news from the postseason, including some general thoughts on the wild card series, position by position comps. We're looking at both teams, comparing rosters, and probably being biased about the Dodgers. And we're going to see how wrong we could be with some series predictions, final roster predictions, starting lineups, and a whole lot more. Before we get into the show, got to remind you this is also a podcast. We got a whole bunch of great stuff going up with Doug. We had Alana Rizzo on the network last week. Check it out on our podcast streams. We're on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, everywhere your podcasts are available for free. And, of course, do subscribe to us, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV. Hit the bell, leave a like, mash that heart button or like or whatever it is. We'll be here with you pregame, postgame, all off season long. What are you seeing in the comments? Let's get into it.
People are hyped. They're like me right now. We got Michael in the chat saying Santa Barbara, baby. We got Mr. Rasaha 23, Peoria, Arizona. We got Joe from the 702. We got our boy Anthony Keene, a loyal Dodgers Nation fan, who says holding it down the 310 in the 510 as ever. We got Christopher from the 860. We got CMZ with some trash talk coming in there. CMZ says our little brother is up. Go Dodgers. So everyone's hyped about the Dodgers, Padres. We're going to get into it. But yeah, everyone's excited. Guys, this is the quiet before the storm. It is going down tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. We just found out just an hour ago, Julio Urias. We all knew what was going to happen. He was going to be the game one starter. But yeah, I'm super stoked.
The worst kept secret in Dodger Stadium, or at Dodger Stadium for sure. Dave very much let that be known without letting it be known. Dropping some Dave-isms. So we got a chance to practice our, I guess, postseason Dave.
Yeah.
What am I like? Translations.
Look, we're both fluent in Dave Roberts. We know the gamesmanship that he plays, but what I was thinking was, just imagine a few weeks ago, he's saying Julio Urias is disrespectful. He deserves more notoriety. He deserves some Cy Young consideration. He was an all-star. Oh, by the way, you're a game 2 star. We might use you out of the pen. That wasn't going to happen, okay?
Yeah.
He was going to be the game 1 starter. He is officially now the Urias. It's been a fun nickname, but now the dream has been realized.
Dream has been realized. Clayton Kershaw, happy to go in game 2. Dave said it today. You got 2 aces. There really isn't a wrong decision here. But if Kersh goes in game 1 and something goes awry, I think it just feels that much worse. The argument could be made that, hey, the Padres are throwing out their number 4 starter. Maybe you'd like to see Kersh sort of be the buffer, let Julio go up against Yu Darvish in game 2. I don't care. You don't need to do that. Don't mess around. Don't get too cute, which we've seen the Dodgers do from time to time, or at least it feels that way. Go get dubs any way you can. You got to win game 1 in the series. Adeline's checking in from the 562 on YouTube. I'm assuming I said that right. Frank Brown says Utah. And I don't know if he's checking in from Utah or if he wants to make it too. Brandon is going to game 2, baby. That's pretty cool.
Game deuce. I like this one from Brian. 5 home games in the postseason, never seen before. Yes, it is going to be Dodger Stadium North and Dodger Stadium South. We know Dodger fans. I don't care if San Diego wants to do everything they can to try to keep Dodger fans out of Petco, but they will show up. They will show up in droves. It's going to be like what the Rams did a few years ago, trying to keep the 49ers out, the 49ers fans out. How did that work out, right? You can't keep Dodger fans out. It's our beach house. It's our beach house down south.
The way Dodger fans work, it's the reverse Magic Johnson. They say, I'm going to be there.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah,
that one's for you, Eric. That one's definitely for Gardina's checking in 3-0. We got Brazil in the house. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name because that one's rough, but we appreciate you, Brazil. You got something?
Yeah, Jack Fidel is from Hornitos, California.
Hornitos!
Yes.
Finding new. Wait, that's the wrong one here. Riverside in the house. Argentina in the house. Indiana at 8:05. We got Norwalk, Ohio. Hey, there's a Norwalk down the road next to Bellflower, California, where Alberto is checking in. We got Montana. Pico Rivera, Oxnard. Lynn Brown says, I hate football. You're in the right place because this is a show about baseball. It's a show about Dodgers. And let's jump right into it. Let's first talk a little bit about the postseason. Wild card series have come and gone.
Yeah.
Of course, the Padres beat the Mets. They come beat the Mets. Give it a little moratorium. I know you had some thoughts on the Mets. I think I saw, unless I'm just making up bullshit, I'm pretty sure I saw some good Doug thoughts on the Mets on your Twitter.
Well, I just think the Mets, they had all this hype. Their team wins over 100 games. They're trying to be the Dodgers East. You have Stephen Cohen. He's got more money than God, throwing money all over the place. But they're learning that you can't build a World Series contender overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a World Series contender. And you have to do it with drafting. You have to do it with being able to take flyers on reclamation projects and have them work out. So I think they learned the hard way that it's going to take some time for them to really become that team that they had hoped that they would be. And look, I just felt very strongly. I mean, I was talking to Alana Rizzo. I said the Padres are a team that has been playing much better down the stretch. And the Mets, look, it's like 1942, World War II. They were the battle of the mid, okay? They were just mid all month long, and I saw it coming. DeGrom wasn't as DeGrominant. And how about Max Scherzer? I mean, was it the Dodgers' fault this time? I was just waiting for him to go to that press conference and say, hey, I got rocked tonight, and it's Dave Roberts, Andrew Freeman, and the Los Angeles Dodgers for their misuse of me last season. So Max Scherzer, the Dodgers, they dodged a bullet by not bringing him back in. It was nice to see him get absolutely rocked, giving up 4 home runs.
He got shook on that Josh Bell bomba, and then it just kept going and going. He got rocked, and you know what? Now he gets to start his postseason early. He had his one celebration. He's good. You know how he is. He likes to pitch. He likes to go get drunk. He likes to not worry about his recovery after clinching. So it is what it is. Sorry, Max. And my thoughts on the Mets, and I had similar-ish thoughts to like the 20 Padres. The Mets are good, but it's a bunch of pieces. Maybe the cohesion isn't quite there, but it reminds me of a lot of like a 2015 Dodgers team. A lot of good names, good bodies, but not the talent wasn't quite there. You know, I think I'm going to take Mookie Betts over Andre Ethier. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take even Cody Bellinger right now over the ghost of Matt Kemp at that point in time. Even though I think he was gone in 15, but he had a good season. Whatever it was, whoever was in center fielder, he had a good JT, but still hadn't been through the experience wasn't there. And you hope they're going to learn. You hope they're going to build from it. You want the Mets to be good. It's a fun young ball club. They got a good fan base over there, but they could watch how real teams play. Starting Tuesday night in
future
Los
Dodger,
Angeles.
Jacob DeGrom, future Dodger.
Yeah,
come root the real ones.
They got some big question marks out there too. Highest payroll, by the way, they are out now. So Dodgers, we number 1. I think the other, we'll say the biggest story, potentially that's non-National League, Seattle with it's not even a massive upset, but you did not expect them to come back from a 9-1 deficit against the Blue Jays, but Toronto stunned. Toronto, out of it.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, Toronto Udova. Yeah, I mean, it was the second biggest comeback in postseason baseball history, and it came on the anniversary of when Edgar Martinez hit that double back in 1995. And look, let's call it what it is. It was a major choke job by the Toronto Blue Jays. The Mariners were 2-7. They were 2-7 against the Mariners all season long, and that crowd, they were just absolutely distraught after that game. I like that lady, the Mariners fan, who during the game she wrote that sign that said "An epic comeback is coming," and what happened? The Mariners come back. So yeah, definitely the feel-good story right now in Major League Baseball. A team that hadn't made the postseason since the first Shrek came out, to have them out there doing big things and advancing. And hey, my guy Luis Castillo, he was shoving.
Nasty. I'm very, very much looking forward to that dude facing Baby Bregman and Ben Verlander's Astros. You know?
Yeah, that's going to be a good series.
Be a very fun series for the folks that really like baseball. Phillies, they absolutely blow up the Cardinals in Game 1, and the Cardinals could never get their footing going again. So Albert Pujols, Theo's career is done in Major League Baseball. Hat tip to an incredible career there. But Phillies will play the Braves. Dodgers playing them Padres. So the National League Division Series is set, and of course the big hubbub coming out of the wild card series from those Padres is, hey, Joe Musgrove, forever an Astro, forever a 2017 Astro. Cheating, they're saying he's got some sticky on the ear or whatever the hell it is. Give us some thoughts. Give us the in real time breakdown here.
Oh yeah,
boom.
I mean, you want to talk about the conspiracy. I mean, yes, that's what everyone was talking about yesterday, and I do think it's very interesting that Joe Musgrove just last week he comes out with that statement. He says that he wants to win a World Series that he can feel proud of, one that was earned. I think maybe he was wearing his Astros uniform last night under his Padres uniform, because if you looked at that ear, it was shiny. It was brighter than the stadium lights. It looked like he had poured Tabasco over it or something like that. And look, I'm just a little jealous. That was a pretty nice ear massage that he got. I mean, I can't get Gene to do that for me. I mean, gee, that was a nice ear massage out there. And look, I think what I wanted to see, I just wanted to see him pull the whole grab the quarter out of your ear trick. Imagine if he had done that on national TV. But to be honest, in all seriousness, though, I do think when you look at the spin rates, everyone's talking about this spin rate was up. It was up over 100 RPM. But if you're looking league-wide, that's the trend league-wide. Spin rates are going up, and I have got news for you. They're back to using substances in some capacity. Was it on his ear? Maybe. Was it in his hair? There's a possibility. But still, look, the reality was the Mets were just trash. Okay? They say New York's the city that never sleeps. Well, the Mets bats were asleep all series long, and that was really the issue. I was hoping the umpires would address the crowd and say that, like, guys, nothing was wrong with his ear. The Mets are just trash. But, yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, I thought it was a funny scene to get everybody involved in the moment there, to have him get a full-blown like ear exam on national television. It was an odd scene.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the way it is. I didn't see it in real time, and I know you guys here in the office were talking about him kind of like wiping his ear before Marquez was coming out. You know, everybody's doing something in this league right now. When it comes, the pitchers are doing something in this league to help with the grip. As long as that's not spider tack on his ear, as long as it's not pine tar on his ear, I don't really care if it's not going to, if it's going to help him get grip and place the ball, you know, be able to spot the ball. That's all cool, because, you know, guess what? Our guys are doing it. Somebody else in the league's doing it. Pretty much everybody in the league is doing it in this case. But
yeah, I mean, they could have let the Mets use the trash can banging, and they still would have had success in that series. That's how bad they were.
The timing of it, though, with the commentary on "I don't feel proud of this ring."
Yeah.
And to have it be, not quite Michael Pineda blatant, but it was still pretty obvious. Like, your ears were shiny, bruh. They did, and you were going to him a lot. Whatever the situation was, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
The ear gate is going off here.
Yeah, let's see these
comments here. Rebecca asking what the F was on Joe's ear. So they're saying it was icy hot, and it's supposed to Andrew McCutchen said it like wakes him up or whatever.
Said it wakes him up. He said other pitchers are known to use it.
Vicks.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, why wasn't it even on both sides? You put on one of your ears. Yes, there was an abnormal increase in spin rate. Do you guys have an issue? Let me know down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on Joe Musgrove? Were they cheating? Because I will say this. Yes, everyone's casual about it now, but can you imagine if we saw that and the Dodgers lost that series? There would be hell to pay. So, I mean, Mets fans, they couldn't even sell out yesterday, so do they even care about their team? The Mets can't sell out an elimination game. That's pathetic, Mets fans. But, yeah, the fact that he was shoving as much as he was absolutely dominating against that team. I definitely think there was some... I definitely think that he possibly gained an advantage. And like you said, I don't have a big issue because I know the reality right now is that there's a possibility some guys on this team could be using a foreign substance. The reality is they just can't get the best grip on that baseball. So, yeah, it's just funny the way that it happened, the optics coming on the heels of that statement that he made.
Yeah, Rebecca says it was way shiny. LOL. We got I don't know on YouTube saying waxy. I mean, that's a lot of wax, man. You got big league money. You just signed a big time contract. You got to have, an ear guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Get yourself an ear guy. What do you got?
We got Wendy White. How's Alana Rizzo's prediction looking now? Hey, Alana's a great friend of the show, and you just never know. The reality is postseason baseball, you never know. And on paper, the Mets probably had a perceived advantage when you consider that they probably should have gone with Jacob deGrom in game 1 versus Max Scherzer. You look at that two-headed monster. You like the Mets' chances. And look, everyone's going to have their years where you get good predictions, bad predictions. They don't make too much out of that. We got Padres, the next Astros. And I said that right with 2 S's. That's coming from Neftale Ramirez over on YouTube. We got George who says Kimbrel needs to talk to Musgrove. That's from George Ike. Yeah, Kimbrel, first part of last season with the Cubs with that .49 ERA before the crackdown. That's a good point. We got Boomer Assassin. Nobody can fault you for a little earwax, LOL. I'm telling you, man, that was shiny, man.
From what I heard, I have sources where he was actually he was spotted by Getty Images before the game talking to Fernando Tatis Jr. And we know Nando, he's got the stuff. He's got the cream for his ringworm. So I think he had the ringworm again.
That's just shared it. I like that.
You guys remember that thing that happened where Fernando had that really just terrible lie of an excuse? Anyways, moving
Fraud
on.
Nando tat cheats. Yes.
Inspired by somebody in the comments saying something about cheating and words and etc. Alex Rennerita asking Edwin Diaz, the new Dodgers closer. Oh, sounds like some good offseason content
that
there.
Does. We'll put that in my back pocket.
Stay tuned all offseason long, which is coming much, much later. Let's start the offseason in about a month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Partying through November. But besides that, the series is set. There's still some roster questions for these Dodgers. Before we get into like position by position, the breakdown, actually looking at the bodies and how they stack up to one another, we know the Dodgers did very well against this team. 14 of 19 games. Have done well against them over the last few years, beat them in the Wild or in the Division Series in 2020. To you, what is your biggest concern? Dodgers versus Padres. What is your concern for the Dodgers?
Well, my biggest concern is that this Padres team, they're playing with house money. They already were, but when you consider the fact they just beat that New York team, they're coming into this series with all this momentum, and their offense has really come alive, and the bottom of their order has really come alive. Josh Bell, he was terrible after the trade. He gets the big home run to really get things kicked off in that series. So my biggest concern is that the Padres offense gets to the Dodgers rotation and our bullpen, and the Dodgers bats go cold. That is always something that we've seen in the past where the Dodgers can sink or swim if their offense doesn't show up. And I definitely believe that they will, but I think this Padres team, they're playing with a lot of momentum. I think they want to face this Dodger team. They know what everyone's saying out there. And yes, I do think it is the classic big brother, little brother dynamic. That is, when you got your little cousin and you're like, you let him beat you up, and you just put your hand out and you just put on his head and he's just swinging away, but he can't hit you. That's what it's like. So to me, I think it's going to be more of the same. I think that every now and then, little brother will get some hope. They'll gain some momentum. And then ultimately, in the end, they'll end up with the same amount of championships that they had before, which is 0. So I definitely think my biggest concern, though, is this Padres offense, the way that they have great plate discipline. And during the year, they struggled really when it came to the slugging department, hitting home runs. And that's definitely up for them. But this is the Dodgers rotation and not the mid-Mets.
Yeah, my concern for me, I mean, this is the hottest we can say they've been. I don't have their September record in front of me, but I know that the trades came to life. I mean, Brandon Drury settled into a role there. Josh Hader had a phenomenal September. You know, the move that they really hoped he would pan out to be. He turned out, it finally came together for him, we'll say, in September. And of course, Juan Soto kind of doing closer to Juan Soto things. So you feel good there. And all of a sudden, you have the October magic of whatever the hell Trent Grisham's doing right now.
Yeah.
We know Jerks and Profar finds a way to get under the skin of some pitchers on this Dodgers staff. So, they find a way to sneak that game one win. I mean, the Dodgers are experienced enough. They've been there, done that a whole bunch. Granted, they don't have as many rings as you would hope out of it, but they've been there, done that a whole bunch. And I would say, especially against this Mets team, this Padres team, Freudian slip. It should have been the Mets probably.
Yeah.
Against this Padres team, they've done it so many times to the Padres where, like, if San Diego does win game one, it kind of doesn't mean anything to the Dodgers. It is kind of, all right, well, whatever, celebrate, party in the clubhouse for your one win, your game one win of the series, or even in the postseason, and then we're just going to come back and do our workman mentality of, all right, well, we got Kersh going in game two, and the last time Yu Darvish pitched at Dodger Stadium in the postseason didn't work out too hot.
Yeah, was not pretty for sure, but. Yeah, I think that's a great point when you mention losing game one. If they drop one of those first two games in the series, it really is a coin flip series, potentially. But I just think when you look at the dominance that the Dodgers have had, they take all 6 series this year. Like you said, they take 14 of 19. Since 2011, they're 144-73. They outscored the Padres 109-47 this season. The last time they met in the NLDS in 2020, they swept them. So it's almost like the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals, the Dodgers versus the Padres. But I do respect this opponent. I actually do. I really think the fact that they went on the road, they beat that Mets team. If they're ever going to beat this juggernaut of a Dodgers team in the DS, it has to be this round, has to be this series. And another concern I have too is, it's not really a concern, but I think one thing that we're heading into this postseason with is, look, we're trying to find a way to how we're going to get how are we going to get these 27 outs? How are we going to piece these outs together? They already have their bullpen situation figured out. They have their closer. They have their rotation. Obviously not like they would want it with Clevenger.
To me, though, that feels like almost a detriment. I feel better about not having a closer for the first time heading into the postseason, where we're not beholden to a guy that you just throw out there, as were, Josh Hader is going to be pretty much almost married to that ninth inning. And maybe, let's just say Evan Phillips is the Dodgers' de facto closer. Well, if he's your closer, then you can't use EP in the 8th inning if you need it in a better run of hitters, or in the 7th or whatever. So they have a guy that they went out and picked up to say, you are our closer. You are the guy who is going to take care of the ball in the 9th inning, regardless of who you're facing. And you might have the best run of hitters for that, or the most dangerous run of hitters the inning before. So that we've seen it backfire against the Dodgers. And I know you've been big on pretty much all season on the bullpen by committee, on just anybody, the right arm in the 9th inning, depending on who they're facing. And I personally, I kind of feel like that's an advantage this time through.
I definitely see it as just the unfamiliarity coming into this point of the season. It could be an advantage. But if you look at the Padres' record in one-run games, if you look at their 12 walk-off wins this season, the Dodgers, they've been just okay in close games. They've been bad in the extra innings. But the Padres, they've been good in one-run games. They've been good in extra innings games. So if it's close, you're going to throw a Tommy Kahnle out there, a guy who I have full confidence in, that 2.33 postseason ERA, that filthy changeup right now. Evan Phillips as a guy that we expect to see some big key outs, some potential saves. If Blake Trinan comes back and can help this team, I have the utmost confidence in this group. But I also think that if it's close, I want to see who gets that first save. who gets that second save. And until they do, it's a one-run game at Dodger Stadium. We know how you can cut that tension with a knife.
Yeah.
You know, it's very tense at the Ravine. So I feel very confident about this team, but there are some things you look at them and you say, hey, this team right now, compare that 2020 team the Dodgers faced. I mean, the NLDS, this team is much better equipped to beat this Dodgers team. But the way their starting rotation is, their bullpen, they found some guys. We'll get into that in just a second. So
a couple of the comments. Go ahead and finish your thought, and let's dig into comments.
Let's dig into it right now. Let's see what we got.
Well, I like this one. Jonas agrees, saying I like not being stuck with the closer. It's probably the most.
Yeah.
It's the most optimum situation for this team, for the game as it's built right now, because
it has to be that way. I mean,
if you weren't beholden to Kenley Jansen for a couple of different seasons.
No doubt about it.
Maybe things turn out different.
The Dodgers going closer by committee is one of the best things that's happened to this bullpen since Eric Gagne. Okay, I mean, let's just be honest. It is a great development for this team. But on the same note, we have to see how they're going to line it up. How deep are they going to get with their starters? Who's going to be that bridge? And I think we know how a lot of it's going to play out. They're going to play the matchups. And if you look at this team, the Padres, there's a pretty even split between their success versus righties and lefties. It's like a 20-point drop-off OPS versus lefties. But I do think that, we just have to see them get it done and go out there and execute. I want to see this Dodger team go out there business-like. Go out there like just straight-up killers with that killer instinct and not get caught up. Type of the business-like. and not get caught up in the emotion of this series. Not get caught up in the hype of the Dodgers and the Padres rivalry. They just have to check this box off. They have the advantage that we're going to get into with the fact that they're facing Clevenger in game one. They would only have to face Darvish, Musgrove, and Snell one time this series. And if they don't, it would be on short rest. And none of those three guys have pitched on short rest. So the advantages that the Dodgers have in this series are many. It's just about them going out there and getting right back into that mode that we saw them playing this whole season. I think the only thing that I think Dodger fans have issues with is, look, it's just been a little stale lately. And that's just human nature because they haven't had a lot to play for. They clinched this division with 21 games to play. 20. We
haven't seen meaningful baseball in like a month. You know, they were still playing for things. You're still playing for team records or individual accolades or whatever. But it's time. It's time to get this wagon train a moving. LA Dodgers Blue on YouTube says we need to score early. I like that. To rock Clevenger early would be big because he's a guy. I mean, we talked about it. We saw Max Scherzer get rocked. They, change up a little bit of the game plan, call some timeouts or whatever the hell you want to do, just to throw off the rhythm of Mike Clevenger, he's got the herky jerky. He's got the wonky delivery. It seems like he's somebody who could get out of the moment. On the other hand, I could see this dude being real hungry to kind of be the guy that they traded for in 20, who ultimately had to, undergo the Tommy John surgery and kind of, reaffirm his spot as a top-ish, top 50 starter in baseball or 40, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. But Camille says going to be a great series, and I think that's the important thing. This is a series that could go 5. We'll get into predictions later, so stay tuned for that. But a couple more comments before we move on. Pacific Patriots saying adios, Ghost Runner. Hey.
Thank you.
Baseball is real again.
No more Sunday beer softball league. My Ghost Runner.
My softball league doesn't even have that. They end in ties.
I swear the whole year the Dodgers didn't even notice there was a runner on second. I call it the John Cena runner because they couldn't see him. Like, I mean, I'm so glad it's gone. I really am.
Gary A pointed out too. I was going to bring up the numbers after I pulled up the stats. Dodgers outscored the Padres 109-47, but we know you could hear any Freddie Freeman interview of recent vintage. Regular season, it don't mean shit.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he said. Look it up. He didn't say it like that. Doesn't mean anything. And I brought up, again, 88 Dodgers versus the Mets. They got their clock cleaned. The Dodgers got their clock cleaned by the Mets in the regular season, and then they go on to beat them in the NLCS, go on to beat the very, very favored Oakland Athletics in a year that had been so improbable. Boomer Assassins, and I doubt Kimby, which I'm guessing is Kimbrel, makes the team. Dave's words today seem to echo that statement or that sentiment.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Craig Kimbrell. I think knowing how many lefty, I guess we could say sluggers or options the Padres have bench or not bench in the lineup right now, you might need to get an extra left-handed arm in there. So maybe that means something for David Price. Maybe he finds his way onto the roster. So let's dig in. Let's get into position by position comparisons. I want to get your thoughts on this. So the rotation I did in order, in what I assume the series is going to look like. And I would say game 3 is different depending on the series. If Dodgers are up 2-0 or if it's 1-1 sort of thing, or if they're down 0-2, it ain't going to be this. But you got Julio versus Clevinger. You got Kershaw, Darvish, Gonsolin, Musgrove, Anderson, Snell. So Julio versus Clevinger. You feel you got the edge there.
Yeah, no question about it. You absolutely have the edge in that situation. Clevinger, a 4.15 postseason ERA this season, a 9.69. Nice ERA versus the Dodgers. LA hit 5 bombs off of him in 13 innings. So you love that matchup if you're the Dodgers. If you got your A's going against a guy that is he a number 4 starter in a World Series contending rotation? My answer to that question would be no. I think they're going to make it rain on sunshine. I think they'll get to him early and often. And I think at the very least, they're going to get him out of there by the 5th inning no matter what. So I love the Dodgers' chances against Mike Clevinger. Clearly the advantage goes to the Urias.
Kershaw, Darvish. What do you got?
See, that's an interesting one because Darvish, he was fantastic against the New York Mets. He also has had a lot of success against the Dodgers this season. So that, to me, it just depends on which version of Darvish are we getting, which version of Clayton Kershaw are we getting. Because if you look at Darvish this season versus the Dodgers, lots of experience. That could go against him, of course, with the familiarity, the fact the Dodgers have seen him so much this season. But a 2.52 ERA and 25 innings pitched, Dodgers have had a lot of success. He's gone 6 or more innings in 28 of 30 starts this season. So it'll be a challenge for LA to get him knocked out of the game because Darvish is a guy that he can go out there, give up 2 runs in the first inning, and then run off 5 scoreless. He can go out there, give up 3 runs, give a key bomb, and he's fine. He doesn't they're not going to bully him off that mound like you might another pitcher. He has the ability. But I mean,
he's been rattled in his career, and I think he learned. I mean, he did admit that he learned a lot from that 17 World Series, in particular that Game 7 start. He doesn't. If he's going to have a bad year, it's going to be based on stuff, not on him getting rattled. But who are you giving the edge there?
I'm still giving the edge to Clayton Kershaw because he's
biased. No.
Not because he's biased. Look, I think that I'm giving the edge to Clayton Kershaw because since he's returned from injury, he's been one of the best pitchers in the league. He's been a top 5 pitcher. All the numbers bore that out. And the fact that he's feeling really good physically when he throws that curveball, the command on the slider, the command on the fastball, and just the fact that he didn't have to pitch in a wild card round like Darvish did. He's pitching at home. It's in the postseason. Advantage, King Kersh.
Game 3, this is my assumption of Game 3, and I'm standing behind it. I've been saying it for a good little while here. Gonsolin starts Game 3. In this scenario, he'd be going up against Joe Musgrove, the old shiny ear Musgrove on regular rest. Thoughts on that? Where's the advantage there? And I'm assuming you're going to say that he's probably not starting Game 3, but for the sake of the exercise, assuming you got a 2-0 or a 1-1 series, positive Dodgers.
So then you got Snell for the next one, and then okay, I think in that matchup, Joe Musgrove, he's pitched well. He's a guy that I like the Dodgers' ability to get to Joe Musgrove. If you look at his numbers, first time through the order, opponents hitting .533.
He's not a threat.
He's not a threat. I mean, he's only a threat if he uses sticky stuff on his ears, apparently. That's the only way he can be a threat. So you saw last night in that start, even with all the success, you did see some hard contact late. You started to see him not as crisp hitting his spot. So Joe Musgrove is a guy, though, that can go out there and deal. Make no mistake about it. Tyler Anderson, though, is a bit of an unknown. It's a bit of an unknown. If I had to give one advantage, I would give the advantage to Joe Musgrove. How could you not when you consider the fact that He was dealing in his last start. He's a guy that is paid like a frontline starter. I do have all the confidence in the world in Tyler, the outs creator. It's just wanting to see if his stuff is going to translate from the regular season into the postseason. We know how filthy that changeup is, the cutter, his pitch mix. For him, it's about having that command and just going out there and attacking hitters. But I think for that one, you have to give Joe Musgrove the advantage.
It's had a good year. It's had his struggles against LA, but you know you're not going to have a fully built up and ready to roll Tony Gonsolin, so I could understand and respect that. In this scenario, again, final starter under these rules and assumptions, and there are no rules. Tyler Anderson, Blake Snell. You got a first-time All-Star going up against a former Cy Young Award winner. On paper, it does not seem to match up, but this is a new Tyler Anderson.
Well, how confident are you as far as Tony Gonsolin? He's not going to be stretched out to go past 4 innings, but how confident are you that he's going to go out there and be able to perform?
Tony, I do feel pretty damn confident about Tony. I mean, we saw him answer a few or check off a few question mark boxes in his final start. He was throwing his full pitch mix, and yeah, maybe he did lose a bit of command in his second inning, but that was by all accounts that was really his minor league rehab assignment, and he's doing it against a big league team. Asterisk, of course, it's the Rockies. But the fact that he was able to throw the split finger and throw it with conviction, and it looked nasty, the rest will come to him. I feel really good about Tony. It's just it's playing the matchups of the fact that he's going up against Joe Musgrove, who has been one of the better pitchers consistently over the last year or two.
And just going on Gonsolin, 12 2/3 against the Padres this season, just allowed 1 earned run. So for me, the Catman has been phenomenal when he's been healthy this season. Make no mistake about it. But I do want to see him perform better in the postseason. I have some PTSD from some of those home runs in the 2020 season, and I just want to see him go out there and hit his spots. I think the issue I had in his last start, he fell behind to 4 straight batters, and with a team like the Padres that is excellent when it comes to plate discipline, that is something that might be a concern. Is you don't want to walk guys, you don't want to give up home runs, but I definitely think he's going to provide a spark. I personally believe that he'll be the Game 4 starter. I think they will go with Tyler Anderson in Game 3. It's okay, for the sake of debate, it's all right, but we'll see what happens. But
couldn't let it go.
It's very possible, but I just
like the idea. I feel they're gonna enjoy or want the idea or buy into the idea of breaking up the lefties, even though after Tyler starts it would be lefty again after that, so you're always going to have 3 lefties in a row. But that's just kind of my thought on it. At the same time, some of the pop in the Padre lineup is left-handed, so maybe you can kind of bury them with
for sure.
I am a little worried about the Julio matchup against Machado, I'll say that much. That's not a lefty swinger. A couple of the comments here. We got Rebecca a couple minutes ago saying Arias has never been rattled like Max did. Never got that rattled. That was a rough one for Max Scherzer. I really enjoyed that. The Max Scherzer love's coming in here. Max dead arm came early this year. And yes, the memes, by the way, were great from all of that. I very much did appreciate that. Boomer Assassin, I want Tony on a short leash. I don't think he goes much past. I mean, he's not going 3 times through the order. Even if he's on a roll, he's not going 3 times through the order. He's not even starting 3 times through the order. You're going to get, at best, you're going to get however many outs that is. You're going to get 18 outs out of him.
Yeah.
At absolute best. But
they're not going to push him beyond limits.
I think the Heaney role has kind of changed facing this Mets. Facing this Padres team. I keep going Mets. Facing this Padres team because of Trent Grisham is kind of on fire right now. It's a little bit of a game changer, and the Juan Soto is always going to be the Juan Soto, but that's Heaney. We'll get to Heaney in a second. So we did rotation though. So now let's put it all together. It sounds like
Well, I don't think we talked Snell, though, did we?
Well, we kind of did, but then you went back to Gonsolin. So Anderson Snell. Give me Anderson Snell in this scenario.
In this scenario, I would have to give the advantage to Snell. I mean, if you look at how he's pitched in the second half of the season, 5.22 ERA in the first half, a 2.19 in the second half, a 2.53 ERA since July 1st. He's had success against the Dodgers this season. I think that we've seen that Snell's a guy that he can get hot. He can catch a hot streak, feels that slider, and he has the potential to dominate better than Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish. If he gets in dominate mode, that could be an issue. But hey, the beauty is we have Austin Barnes, his dad, in the dugout that can go out and get a base hit. So I still feel a lot of confidence about the Dodgers getting a win over Snell. But if I had to give you a little advantage, and he did not look great, 5 walks in his start against the Mets, just went 3 1/3 innings in their Game 2 loss. So I probably would just so I don't look biased. I don't want to go all Dodger on all these picks, but I'll give Snellzilla the advantage on that one.
Remember, this is a dude who absolutely cannot face a hitter. The numbers just get monumentally better when he's going second time through, third time through, and these are the Dodgers. At that point, they would be in San Diego, but you got to figure there's going to be a whole lot of Dodger fans trying even harder to get in. Not even trying, because that's going to be easy. You have any idea how many Padres fans or people in Padre County bought tickets just to resell them at an incredible high markup?
Dodger fans are ruthless. They probably bought houses in all those counties in the last 2 days just to be able to buy those tickets. And they just show up in Padres gear.
In this market?
Yeah, in this economy, they just show up in Padres gear and be like, and then take it off, and I'll be all Dodgers gear. Be like, you guys lost.
Is that heel turn sort of thing?
Exactly.
So I guess we'll say, for the sake of the argument, is it kind of a push rotation-wise in terms of position-by-position advantages?
I would say you could make it's not a push, because the reality is the Dodgers have the advantage of being able to face Clevenger twice in the series or a Darvish on short rest. So the Dodgers have the advantage no matter what. If you play the matchups, let's say they're both starting at the same time and this was a traditional NLDS or something like that, that maybe you could say, hey, you could maybe say it's a push, but I still like the Dodgers because of the emergence of Julio Urias taking his game to a whole nother level as the ace, and the fact that Clayton Kershaw is healthy and he's pitching so well. I mean, the Dodgers didn't have Clayton Kershaw last season. They had dead arm Max. His arm passed away. So I still like the Dodgers starters in the series. But the two things I'm looking at most is how will Tyler Anderson perform in the postseason? And then also, how does Tony Gonsolin look out there on the mound? Is he healthy? Is he hitting his spots? Is he using that mix? Because, this Padres lineup, they can be pesky at times. I mean, there's no question about it. If you look at, they are the 5th highest contact rate in baseball, the 6th highest walk rate in baseball, the 8th lowest strikeout rate in baseball. So little brother is trying to be Dodgers light down there. They're the wish Dodgers.
Yeah, they've been building to beat these Dodgers for the last few years, as I've said a number of times. Rebecca says the ear memes are going to be fire, and that's going to be fun to see. I really wish Musgrove was starting at Dodger Stadium, but that's not going to happen in this scenario. So you're giving slight to above slight advantage to the Dodgers in position by position advantage, disadvantage, whatever that one kind of. Let's move on to the bullpen. We'll keep this one. We'll move this one a lot quicker because there's a lot of arms to get through. And this is under the assumption of a few guys being on. Like, I have Blake Trinan on because Dave Roberts, his words today made it sound like he's going to be on. Blake Trinan's going to be on. He did say Dustin May likely or possibly potentially could not or might not be on this NLDS roster for the sake of building him up to be a 5th starter, building him up more to be that 5th starter if and when the boys get to the NLCS. So I kind of understand that, but also, like, this is a dude who's had some pretty viral success against the Padres in the past, but he's also somebody who did not look great. He did not look great in his audition post Tommy John. So give him a little bit more time, be around, kind of ease the tension, take some of the edge off heading into there. So those are the ones that sort of, I guess we'll say, flip spots. I would say Blake Trinan takes Dustin May's spot in our rotation or in our bullpen that we put together last week. Of course, you got Phillips in there. I really looked at it like going against matching up the top 3 guys. So I got Phillips, Hader, Canely versus Suarez, and yes, I threw Tommy Conley up there versus Suarez, and I got Vesia versus Tim Hill. Just saying those most likely top 3 dudes. I mean, you could throw in Chris Martin over Canely. You could throw in even Almonte, maybe, probably not. Bruzdar. Going off those 3, who are you giving, or those 6, or say 3 head to head? Who are you giving the bullpen advantage to?
I'm still definitely giving the bullpen advantage to the Dodgers because of the depth, the arms that they have top to bottom, the fact they are fresh, the bullpen through 8 2/3 innings in that Mets series. So the Padres are definitely going to benefit from those strong starts from Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove. So they didn't completely tax their bullpen in that series like we had hoped. The only pitcher to pitch multiple games was Suarez. So that was the only guy that pitched in 2 games, but he's definitely filthy. I mean, averaged 90 on that heater. He's a guy that's a triple-digit velo guy, 97-mile-per-hour sinker. You guys are going to see his changeup, 89 miles per hour. Opponents hitting 89 against this season. Had 2 1-2-3 innings, struck out 2 on Sunday. So he's definitely their hot reliever, one of those high-leverage guys. But I wouldn't say that this bullpen is better than the Braves bullpen last season or maybe the Brewers bullpen that we faced a few years ago. It's not that great. It's not on that level. Josh Hader to me is still a wild card because he was atrocious. He was an absolute disaster dumpster fire after the trade. The haters were out on Josh Hader. Had a 17.55 ERA, 9 punchies, 8 walks, 13 runs and 13 hits in his first 9 games, but hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 10 games of the season in 9 1/3, 13 punch outs to 1 walk. So he's looking more like the Josh Hader that was at one point one of the most feared relievers in the game, but they don't have the depth in the bullpen that the Dodgers have.
No, I mean we're looking at. I mean it's always going to be hard for even fans of the team to know all of the names in the bullpen sometimes, let alone the names in the other bullpen and just kind of what they meant to a ball club. And of course with relievers, ERA is just such a crapshoot. But again, if you're matching up these dudes, you got Chris Martin versus Nick Martinez in this situation. The matchups mean nothing, but Bruzdar, Andrew Heaney, I think does end up playing a big role. And if you have either David Price or Caleb Ferguson on there, guess what? They're not the guys who are throwing in the 8th or 9th inning. These are the guys getting an emergency out in the 3rd or in the 6th or whatever the hell it is, or trying to get Juan Soto out with 2 on and 2 out or whatever it may be. Yency Almonte, we know. Maybe I was still iffy on our bullpen preview from last week. I was still kind of iffy on him, but I feel a lot better him going up against whatever the hell a Pierce Johnson is. I think if you pierce your Johnson, they what do they call that? The Captain Charles. The Captain Charles. And then by the way, you're sneaking Blake Trinan in there, who was the Dodgers' #1 option out of the bullpen last year. You don't know what the hell he's going to be this year, but that's going up against whatever a Steven Wilson is. Best ERA in baseball, dominant unit, no Craig Kimbrell. You got to like the Dodgers. You got to give them the advantage there. Boomer Assassin saying our bullpen is second to none. Jonathan Morin on Facebook says definitely. I'm assuming that means agreeing with me, even though it was minutes before I said that line there. Sean Muller says, I thought our bullpen was second. Did they finish second? I don't know the numbers.
They're second behind the Astros, I believe.
It doesn't count. Number 1 in the National League, and Astros cheat, so that's good. Yeah. Boomer Sasson, Hader's only good for 1 inning. I think he could be stretched out, and that's just if they try to throw him to save a game, a 2-out save in game 1, that just kills him for the rest of the series. So hey, find your way to if you're going to lose a game, at least burn that bullpen as much as you can. We got is game 2 Sean Mania. No, that is going to be Yu Darvish.
Please, let him pitch the whole series.
Jonathan S. and his heart attack Kimbrell on the roster. No, we will not have Craig Crumble on there. I'm full. It's not official, but I'm fully booking it right now. Moving on, let's get into the hitters because this is where things are actually going to be fun and exciting. Will Smith versus Austin Nola. Is this one Austin? This is Austin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who you got?
Will Smith, the best hitting catcher in baseball, no question about it.
Yeah.
Best looking. No, yeah, Will Smith is a guy that he's going to be big. For the Dodgers, if the Dodgers win the World Series this season, you're going to look back and see him hit multiple home runs in a series, get multiple extra base hits. He is going to be pivotal for the Dodgers during this run. He's also improved as a game caller. He's got that cannon, the Smith and Wesson behind the plate. So, yeah, absolutely. Will Smith all day. Should have been an all-star.
Austin Barnes going up against Jorge Alfaro. You got to feel good about the captain, especially the streak he was on to end the season.
Yeah, he's finished the season strong. They love him behind the plate. They love him as a game caller. I think he's a guy that's going to play more than you even realize. I truly believe that you'll see multiple times during this run, Austin Barnes get some real opportunities, and you just love his approach at the plate. He doesn't try to do too much, and when he does that, sometimes he ends up hitting it out. You'll see him get home runs where you're like, okay, that was Austin Barnes, a nice home run to left. So Alfaro's been a guy that has been clutch. They've had 12 walk-off hits this year. 5 of them came from Alfaro. He's a guy that doesn't draw many walks, but the key for Austin Barnes is getting the most out of Clayton Kershaw, and that is his biggest value to me. I think he's going to provide a lot of value. He is the captain for a reason, the crazy eyes killer. Give me AB.
Yeah, Barnesy probably starting in game 2, probably at catch. Will Smith DH. I think you were mentioning it earlier today. Lux is probably the odd man out in that situation because you got to get Max Muncy in there at second base. Now it starts to get pretty easy or it definitely gets easy here at first base. Freddie over the combination of Josh Bell and Brandon Drury. I'm assuming you're going to take Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, give me Freddie franchise all day.
Lux versus old Cronenberg Morty. So you got Gavin Lux, Jake Cronenworth. One is an all-star 2 times over for some stupid reason.
Look, I mean, I probably would take Jake Cronenworth. I really would right now when you consider the season that Lux had towards the end, how he finished. And is he banged up? Is he dealing with an injury? Until he proves that he was that guy before he went on the IL, I'll probably take Jake Cronenworth. A lot of people assume that this Padres team might have some other players in between Machado and Cronenworth, but Cronenworth finished second on the team in WAR behind Manny Machado at 3.7. So I think I'll take Cronenworth. I think he's due. He's had some big hits in the past, so I think I'd probably take Cronenworth. I mean, Lux is my guy, but like I said, I'm not trying to do all Dodgers and sound completely biased on this one.
But if you have to force it, then
Yeah. No, I mean that's just my real take.
All right. Well, this one you're definitely going to go Padres. Justin Turner versus Manny Machado.
Yeah, it's tough to go against Manny Machado. Not only would I take him over Turner in the head-to-head matchup, but, I mean, he's a guy who's a strong case to be league MVP. And you saw, I think the thing about Manny Machado is watch what he does with runners in scoring position. This year, hitting .319 with runners in scoring position. Also, the way he ambushes. We've seen him ambush pitchers this season, an 1159 OPS with 5 bombs and 9 2-baggers on the first pitch. So, could be a problem ambushing Clayton Kershaw. And he hit that big home run against Scherzer in Game 1. And also, he has kind of been the Urias killer in his career. A 1247 OPS with 4 dingers and 7 RBI against Julio, but Kershaw's really dominated him for the most part in his career. Tyler Anderson has surprisingly owned him. He's gone just 3 for 24 against Tyler, the outs creator. But I think, I think Manny Machado, maybe he's definitely the better player defensively, but will Justin Turner get that one big hit that changes a series? So I definitely think you have to go Manny Machado, but don't discount what JT, the leader in pretty much all Dodgers postseason stats, could potentially do.
Looking at JT, he hasn't been good in the postseason for a while, but he's also been hurt or tired by that point. This year, I think Doc did a brilliant job in keeping him relevant, keeping Justin Turner relevant in the lineup and on defense, and letting him settle in to a designated hitter role, like letting him learn how to DH. And we did see him become a threat thanks to Joe Musgrove early in the season or mid-season, and then just take off. Like, this is by far the best version of Justin Turner we've seen. And I would argue, I mean, Machado started out hot and kind of dipped off, not massively. Still great year, still a very highly rated year, and he's going to finish top 5, maybe even top 3 in the NL MVP voting. But when you look at how they end the season, the total numbers, I mean, the slug wasn't there for JT so much this year, but his job isn't to necessarily slug and isn't to necessarily drive in all the runs. He's just got to keep the line moving. He's got to be a nuisance in the box. He's got to, face, see it 8 to 10 pitches in at bat and get a starter out of there and get to that bullpen and just make him work. And that's something, for Manny, if there's nobody, if they find a way, if the Dodgers can keep runners off the bases in front of Manny, let him hit his solo shots. Let him pimp a double into a single, whatever the hell it may be. But I like, in this direct matchup, I like JT's what he brings to the lineup at the point where he'll be hitting, which is 5 or 6. As we're a lot's riding on Manny and JT. The advantage goes to Manny Machado here, but I'm just making the argument for Justin Turner.
That's a great point.
Despite our differences. Another Turner, Trey, shortstop. There's no Fernando Tatis. You got Hassan Kim. Do I even have to ask, or do we just move on? Advantage Dodgers.
They got a lot from Hassan Kim, though. A career year from Hassan Kim.
Dude walks, too.
He takes his walks. He's a spark plug for them. Trey Turner, a .561 career OPS. He hit just above 200 last year, 500 OPS for the Dodgers. He has to step up. This has to be his breakout postseason. You'll get even more money. He's going to get a bag no matter what, but this is his moment. This is the postseason that Trey Turner has to break out. But I'll definitely trade Trey Turner. But Kim has definitely been a lot better for them than a lot of people realize.
He's a good player. He finds a way to make a difference. And again, it's sort of a similar situation as where I'm making the argument for JT. Kim is kind of that guy because he's not hitting high in the lineup, as where a lot of this Dodger offense goes through Trey Turner. So I understand that this is not the way the match to match or position advantages go, fun. But that's just how I'm looking at it. If you're looking at what they mean to the ball club, there's a whole lot less stress on Kim's shoulders. He just got to play a great defense at short. Keep making some wild jumping, sprawling plays, whatever the hell he does, and get on base and be a nuisance. So he's kind of, to me, he's kind of like their Justin Turner in a way. DH, we got to throw that one in there. Max Muncy's going to be probably your him and JT are going to swap. So you could almost argue Muncy versus Machado at 3B, but I think you'd still go Manny Machado. But let's, for this exercise, DH Max Muncy versus the Josh Bells and Brandon Drurys of the world. Whoever's not at first is going to be the DH. Give us your thoughts there.
Well, Josh Bell, not a lot of postseason experience, but he's got a taste of it, has had some early season success. We know how important it is to get hot early and just continue and ride that. Max Muncy is a guy that had an awful start to the season. It was an absolute nightmare. Then he turned around, and then you started to see him kind of limp into the postseason as far as where he is right now. But give me the experience of Max Muncy. Give me those clutch base hits. There's only been 4 walk-off home runs for the Dodgers in the postseason. Max Muncy has one of them, 2018 World Series Game 3. I think after missing last season too, Dodger fans are going to see what they missed, how he was so big for this Dodger team, how he's so important to their success in October because he can take his walks, because he can get those timely base hits, and he's a guy that can slug too. So give me Max Muncy.
It's a good call. We saw just the how much that really changed this offense.
Yeah.
You there was no time for them to figure it out because it was the last game, and then it's now you got to go straight into the wild card. It was a tough situation for them to and for Max to lose it. So I think he's going to come out and he's going to want to prove to himself that he can do this at the highest level. He can do Max Muncy things, be America's slugger in October, as we've seen before. Bench, sort of an amalgamation here. We got Gallo, Thompson. I personally, I think I think CT's gonna be in the roster, and I think Dave is gonna go Chris Taylor because that's what Dave do. So in this case, I got Gallo, Thompson. We'll give our final-ish roster predictions after we finish this, but it feels to me like Dave's gonna go Hanser. I mean, he's gonna go Miggy Vargas for that last roster spot. So again, Gallo, Thompson, Vargas versus Will Myers, Luis Camposano, Brandon Dixon, and Jose Azokar outfield.
Yeah.
It's a tough name.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of unknown with that Dodgers bench. Miguel Vargas, you almost can't look at his numbers if you're trying to determine the kind of success that he'll have, but the upside is there. The bat to ball is better. The ability to slug, pretty much 75% of Hanser Alberto's hits have been singles. They've been, but Miggy can go up there, probably kind of can lace a double. He can leave the yard. I think what makes him so intriguing is the possibility of Miguel Vargas. So I'm okay with that, and I think I agree with you 100% that even if we predicted Hanser Alberto would be on that final postseason roster, the language that Doc's been using, talking about Miguel Vargas, just kind of reading the tea leaves, it does feel like it could be Miguel Vargas. So, hey, Hanser Alberto, highest paid mascot in Major League Baseball, the DJ Khaled of the Dodgers. He's their hype man. You don't know what he does. So I'm okay with that. But as far as who has the better bench, I still trust the Dodgers bench because they're not going to have
Thompson. That's all you need.
I mean, I'm hoping Trayce Thompson actually starts early on. I really am. I really
strongly prefer that.
Yeah, especially look. I mean, you took Clevenger deep.
I don't have faith in Chris Taylor right now. He hasn't proven enough, and he's banged up.
Yeah.
And it's not just like one spot. It's all over, and that neck is a pretty big problem.
Yeah. And also, too, you want to see what Trayce Thompson can do early in the postseason. Let's not forget the Padres were the team that gave up on him. So I want to see him go out there, hit a big home run, get a big extra base hit. It'd be like a movie to see him do that in a Dodgers uniform. After the Padres gave him away, and any team in the league could have had him, he ends up with the Dodgers. He's thriving. But I hope that Trayce starts, but if you do have him on the bench, then that only makes your argument that much stronger, and the Dodgers have the advantage when it becomes the Padres and the Dodgers benches.
Important note here that we did omit, so shout out to Steve Bryan on YouTube for bringing it up. We completely discount Hanser out of the bullpen. I mean, that's a game-changing arm there.
Yeah. So if Hanser's pitching out of the bullpen, either it's like the greatest game ever or the worst postseason game in Dodger history, right? I mean,
on the bench today, Dave Roberts said he labeled, or when talking about Miguel Vargas, he called him a dynamic player.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, or I'm reading that it's speaking, Dave Roberts. That means this guy gives us a better at bat quality than this other guy. Hanser's still going to be around. He can still be the cheerleader. He can still be, the lovable Juan Uribe without talent.
Yeah.
No worries there. And I think he would thrive in that job. If he's in a ball game, if he's not going to start a single damn game in the postseason.
Yeah.
And he doesn't provide a quality enough at bat off the bench to be on the bench when the games mean this much. So he's a regular season guy, and the fact that they have identified that you need some regular season guys, and you got to have some postseason guys to have a difference. I kind of have shifted. I like Miggy Vargas in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I could talk myself into Miguel Vargas. I love my young talent. I love my swagger, my star potential. I'm all about the stars, right? We're in LA, the city of stars. I think Miguel Vargas has that intangible je ne sais quoi, that it factor that you really just can't identify. But remember last season, the NLCS, what were we yelling at our TVs, Dodgers Nation? Put the ball in play. Get the bat on the baseball. And Hanser Alberto is a guy that he can play every single infield position. Miguel Vargas has played a little outfield, not to a great level, but he can play some third base, some first base. But yeah, I just think that his strikeout rate at AAA, above 14%, in the show, a little over 26%. I do think you can
Still
trust.
Better than Gallo.
I think ours are better than Gallo. I mean, jeez. But
hot take.
I think you can trust Miguel Vargas in a spot, able to go up there and try to provide some power and get a big base hit. But the reality in all of this is, hopefully, none of these guys are having meaningful at bats. Hopefully, none of these guys are at the plate in crunch time in a clutch situation, and that you have the top of the lineup, in the middle of the lineup, and the bottom of the order getting it done and generating runs. But you never know. Late in the game, you might need a matchup. You might see some pitching changes where you're going to want to switch it up. But
the only spot I really see a pinch hitting situation is, Dave has kind of shown he doesn't trust Lux as much of late in games against left-handed pitching. So that's where you go to the right-handed bat, and maybe that's where things match up there to get Miggy. I do think offense plays up more than having a guy who can play everywhere. If somebody gets hurt, they have enough optionality. CT3 can play anywhere, even if he hasn't played shortstop at all this year or whatever. Or if you need to put, JT or Muncy at third base, or Trace anywhere in the outfield, whatever it is, you got enough optionality there where you can get away with kind of stashing a better bat option off the bench.
Also, too, an investment in your future, right? You get him a big at bat. Gavin Lux became the youngest Dodger to hit a home run in 2019. And Miguel Vargas, I can envision him coming to the plate, and it's almost an ignorance is bliss situation. The less you know, the better you're going to perform. You're not going to be in your head. And I don't know, I just think that he definitely has it in him to come up in a big spot. I really like and appreciate how the veterans have embraced him, especially Mookie Betts, giving him all these pointers. And it just does feel like that's kind of been something up their sleeve that they've had top of mind for the last few weeks heading into the postseason. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Hanser Alberto has been a disappointment, but I do think they like Miguel Vargas' upside and his potential ability to slug and get a bigger base hit.
Yeah, I mean, Hanser did his job in being a clubhouse guy and being part of pulling that chemistry together. Yeah. But he's the chemistry's already there. Taking him out of taking him off the roster doesn't mean, again, he's not in the dugout or around.
No, don't even tell him he didn't make the cut. Don't even tell him. Like, maybe he won't even realize it.
Did I make the roster? No, bop.
No, bop.
Left field, we got Chris Taylor versus Jerks and Profar. In this scenario, it should be Trace Thompson, because I think Trace Thompson would far and away be the better option over Jerks and Profar. But this matchup, to me, it kind of leans Profar. He's a more dynamic player right now because he's healthy. He's got some wheels. Taylor's quick, but he's not, the most fleet of foot.
Yeah,
he's a very, very fast dude, no doubt, but
it's tough to argue with that point. Profar's had a better year. He's been on the field. Chris Taylor's been banged up. He's dealt with injuries. The only pushback I have on that, and what I keep reminding myself and why I'm still an advocate for Chris Taylor, is because he struggled so mightily down the stretch. He was also dealing with injuries. He was playing for a contract, which probably does help. Free agency is definitely the best drug in baseball, right? That really is the best PED. But I think that Chris Taylor, if he's not 100% healthy, still banged up, you got to give the edge to Profar in that one.
And again,
the Patrick Beverly of baseball, by the way.
Get him. And again, Dave is going to start. If he's on the roster, Dave is going to start CT3. I really hope I'm wrong on this, because I would love to see Trace Thompson in there. But battle of, I guess, October center fielders here with Cody Bellinger and Trent Grisham. Grisham, awful season. All of a sudden, kind of carrying the Pods. A small sample size, but you also got October Belly Eve.
Yeah,
give me your thoughts. Who got the advantage here?
I'm the biggest Belly Ever there is. I'm gonna die on the Cody Bellinger hill, but it's Trent Tober versus Code Tober in this one, and Trent Grisham has gotten off to a great start. He hit 107 in September, and he's gone into God mode. Multiple home runs in the postseason already. He's won a Gold Glove in center field. Actually won the Gold Glove over Cody for the 2020 season. But I think that he's going to come down to earth very quickly here. I really do. I think that Cody Bellinger, he's performed so much better of late. We went through his numbers last time. And, hey, I didn't go against Cody before. I'm not going to go against him now. Give me Cody Bellinger. I don't care about Trent, Eddie Rosario Grisham. Eddie Rosario Grisham.
Yeah, it's almost a push to me, but I think the track record and speaks better and bigger for Cody. He has been here. He has done. I mean, experience plays up for the Dodgers in every aspect, because you got dudes who have won World Series titles, both with the team and essentially going through the Dodgers to get there. They've been. They've assembled a fine assortment of ingredients to put together an incredible roster that went out and won 111 games. And you can't sleep on the fact that a team won 111 games. Sure, they play a lot of really bad teams, and the Rockies 19 times, but still. Final spot, and this one kind of is, a bit up for debate in a way. I would lean Mookie, but Mookie versus Juan Soto.
So
one's a guaranteed Hall of Famer, and the other one is likely a potential. They're both on trajectory.
This way. Look, this was definitely tougher than this is tough for me because I'm the biggest Mookie guy ever for sure. But
so he's a big Will Smith guy, big Mookie guy.
There's some guys I didn't say I was a big version of too. Though.
That's fair. That's fair.
Go back and watch. But yeah, if you look at Juan Soto, 4 for 12 in the wild card round, all singles, did have some timely base hits. He is starting to square up the baseball, hit the ball hard. Yesterday, you saw him hit that 2-run single in the clincher. 2019 at 927 OPS for Juan Soto in the Nationals World Series run. Hit those 5 bombs. Urias owns him. Urias is his daddy. Urias, he's 1 for 16 against the Urias. So I like that one home run, though. That one hit was a home run. But Mookie Betts, what he does for this team, I think Juan Soto needs to do more for the Padres than Mookie Betts needs to do for the Dodgers for their offense to have success and click. So I think Juan Soto's a guy that they made that move for him. They made that move to go all in, push all those chips in to contend for a title this season. But I'm still going Mookie Betts. I'm a big Mookie Betts guy.
So the Dodgers have the advantage. You're going to see more of these type of exercises out on all of the websites tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Athletic pulls out of their ass.
And don't forget defensively. That's a big thing for me, too. It's a big factor.
Massive
Mookie
upswing,
changed the 2020 postseason. Yeah. Without Mookie's glove in right field, the Dodgers don't win the World Series. Defensively, Juan Soto, he's rough at times. And Mookie Betts is a game changer.
And he's got the wheels on it. So for the whole postseason, I think I had said I really wanted to say, a couple designated Twitters ago, I really wanted to say Clayton Kershaw is my postseason X factor, but you took that because it's a great take. I said Dustin May, he still has the opportunity to be the postseason X factor, but here in the NLDS, I've got Mookie Betts as my X factor. He's got to set the table. He's got to get the lineup started, and do that DJ 300 stuff that he do.
Yeah. That's a great pick because Mookie, he had a great NLDS last season. He hit 194 in the NLCS. He was up in big spots with the bases loaded. Looked like he was outmatched against Madsick at times. So Mookie Betts, he's the face of the franchise. You're paid $365 million. Yeah. Mookie's got to come up big. There's no question about it.
You got to be the catalyst. You got to be the table setter, and you got to hope that Trey Turner figures it out behind you guys. We appreciate you rocking with us through all of that. A good time, good stuff. Sorry we couldn't get to the comments as much through that. We do have one more short section for the show, but we also got to remind you, all postseason long, pregame, postgame. Make sure you're here. Subscribe, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell so you get notified whenever we go live, whenever we post anything. There's always good stuff going up because Doug's a crackhead, but in like the positive kind of way.
Yeah.
Get in a couple comments before we get into the next and final section that we'll get through quick. Again, hey, this is postseason. That's how it goes. We're at 10 hours right now? Never ending. Boomer Assassin, Soto's defense is crap. Rebecca, Soto defense not as good. Think Blue, Freddie MVP. Freddie in this lineup. He's a different level of bat when you consider that he's replacing essentially Corey Seager's ground out to the left or to the right side at bat. Another really good pick right there to be an X factor. Who was your X factor? Now let's do the specific series. NLDS X factor, because why not?
I was going to say Freddie Freeman because I think this is first taste. Synergy, corporate bondage. I was going to say Freddie Freeman for a couple different reasons. One, he was the big offseason acquisition. He did fill the shoes of Corey Seager, but when it comes to a hitter, he's on a whole nother level. He's MV free. I think if there's, of course, no MVP in the NLDS, but I think he's going to be the Dodgers' best player offensively. And I think it's because if the Dodgers have some big swings or you see them going through stretches where they're having issues just making contact, Freddie Freeman is a guy that goes up there and is going to give you a quality at bat. He's going to hit to all fields. He's been clutch all season. He's raked against the Padres. So I think that he wants to make a statement early and announce to the city of Los Angeles, some of these fans that maybe only tune in for the postseason, to his teammates, hey, I'm here to win another World Series. I wasn't content with that one title against the Braves, and I think that he wants to face the Braves and crush them and get that nice revenge World Series. So I think Freddie Freeman is on a mission, and that's my X factor. It's not really an X factor because I just think his quality is going to be good no matter what, but I do think he's going to be the player of the series, and I think because of that, it's going to make things a lot easier for this Dodgers offense.
Yeah, all the points are good, as usually happen with D-Mac over here. Ghost
Cody,
Cat, dumbass. Ghost Cat 69. I want to see Trey Turner having his best run of his career. We talk about CT's play for the bag, go be paper chaser. Trey Turner needs to have himself a hell of a postseason right now. He's going to get the money anywhere. But you have yourself an electric postseason, you can get yourself 2-3 more years somehow because front offices are stupid, and they'll pay for that recency bias and the postseason success. Another one, the top three, they carried this team all season long, and if we're going Ghost Cat as our third X factor here,
for sure,
pulling out Trey Turner.
That's an excellent point. Just think, Corey Seager cashed in a year after his breakthrough postseason. So if Trey could catch fire and carry this team and really exercise some of those postseason demons and come through, that'd be big for him and big for his bank account.
But we also kind of don't want that because we kind of want him back, but we'll figure that much out. I want to win now, so go be good at baseball. Ray Barrio saying D-Mac was spot on about the Mets. He predicted this, so genius as always, just like your therapist tells you.
I got a DeLorean. Okay?
I.E. Doyer says, you got the book, right?
Yeah.
He knows Biff.
Back to the Future 2.
Mookie MVP. They don't do MVPs in this round. I'm gonna go with it. No, I'm gonna go. No, he's probably not gonna get 2 starts. Yeah, screw it. I said it already. Mookie Betts. He's gonna be your NLDS.
You got some more comments here. We got. I like this one, Clint. Austin Barnes is my X factor. His defense behind the plate is always clutch in October. That's from Oscar Prince. Also, him getting the most out of Clayton Kershaw, it just doesn't show up in a box score. It doesn't show up. So he's so big for this team. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. We got carnivorous lunar activity. I said that wrong for so many years. Now I just crush it every time. It's not a stream without Diane Schroeder. Always a shout out to the Dodgers Nation, legends. Very godmother, Diane Schroeder. Appreciate you. We got Soto will be shuffling his way back to the SD. I like that from Boomer Assassin. We got Matthew. Let's change the stream title to DMAC Fan Club. What? I got a lot of family and friends that watch this, guys. They're all paid extras.
No, that was your therapist, right?
Oh, yeah. Doom_Sal Freeman, NLDS MVP. Rebecca says, I got Trace. I like this take. Rebecca says, I got Trace as her MVP. And then Trace, Gallo, Phillips, Almonte, Canley, season 2022. Look, if you wanted to read about on the show, get a shorter name. It'd be easier. But he says, Trace Thompson for my NLDS MVP. If that's the case, get Disney on it. That's a movie, okay? If Trace Thompson comes through in a big moment, hey, I just hope that starting lineup isn't without a Trace. I want to see him in it.
Bare minimum 30 for 30 right there for sure. Or one of those slow pan, backstage Dodger type things.
Or
this goes real long.
A Dodger-mentary.
Right here.
Dodgers Nation off.
Yeah, I remember.
Impossible rise of
Trace. I remember when I said, "Hey, this is a good idea," and then you asked Eric if this is a good idea, and then you never did it.
Oh God, this is not true. Next question.
Moving on. All right, let's quickly get into our predictions. Final roster predictions. May, yes or no? We know it's no because Dave, or we assume it's no. Dave.
Dustin Timberlake, it's not going to be May.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Blake Trinan, yes or no? You think he's on?
Yes.
All right. Chris Taylor, yes or no?
Yes.
Hanser Alberto or Miguel Vargas?
Based on what we heard today, I'm saying no.
So Miggy. Miggy. All right, there it is. Starting lineup prediction. Give me your 1 through 9 real quick.
You want my 1 through 9?
This is gonna be prediction, and guys, also drop right now your final series predictions. We'll probably go through this again tomorrow, or if you're listening to it today on the pregame show. So make sure you tune in an hour before first pitch.
So here we got mine. We got Mookie Betts starting in right field, Trey Turner starting at short, Freddie Freeman at first, Will Smith at catcher, Max Muncy at DH, Justin Turner in the 6th hole. At third, we got Trace Thompson starting in left, and then they got Cody Bellinger in center, and then Gavin Lux, bottom of the order, turning it over like he did last year in the NLDS. So that's my 1 through 9.
I like it. I would run that. I think they flip Cody and Lux. I think Lux is at the bottom, and I think it's going to be CT over Trace because, again, Dave's guy. This is going to be the fun one.
We got Lux at the bottom? I got Lux.
No, you had Lux batting 8.
I got him 9th.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I said.
You think CT?
So I have Belly batting last.
9th. Okay.
And then it will be CT instead of Trace.
Okay. Well, this is what I want.
Yeah, I know that's what you want. I'm doing predictions of what I assume they're going to run with.
Oh, okay.
There's no right or wrong answers here. Just saying. Give us your final series prediction, best of 5. What are you thinking?
I've gone back and forth on this one. Last night, heat of the moment, the success of the Padres, I thought was going to be a dogfight, a back alley brawl between little brother and big brother. But when you look at the rest, we look at the advantage that they could face Mike Clevenger in game 1. I think this Dodger team wants to send a message. I think it's going to be the sweep Diego Padres. I'm going Dodgers in 3. I know that's bull. I know everyone out there, Sonic the Hedgehog, saying Dodgers in 4. But to me, it's either a 3-game series or a 5-game series. I like the Dodgers advancing. And look, this is failure is not an option. Apollo 13, this is Ed Harris's quote, failure is not an option if you're the Dodgers. You're either the champs or the chumps, because you remember every single year, whoever the Dodgers lose to, what do? They go on to win the World Series. So if you lose to this Padres team, you could look at a franchise and a fan base that could say, hey, we knocked off the 111-win Dodgers as an 89-win team. They have to win. I don't want to hear anything about how the baseball postseason is a crapshoot. You have to win this series. It's a legacy series for everyone that's on the roster. Dodgers, you cannot blow this. Like I said, either they'll be the champs or the chumps. They'll either be the 2001 Mariners or the 98 Yankees. And I think this team is more 98 Yankees than it is 2001 Mariners.
You guys heard all that.
I'm fired up, man. I'm done. I'm going to be that Toronto Blue Jays fan that says I can never watch baseball again if the Dodgers lose this series. Yeah. I'll retire. Pickleball,
know.
Cricket, whatever.
It just would be so damn hard to come back from that. My prediction, I do think this series ends up going 5 games. I think that the Pods just have some good vibes going.
Yeah.
Dodgers are going to take it 3-2, but it's going to be a bloodbath, man. Again, the Padres have been building this team to specifically beat this Dodgers team for the last 3 years. They've been curating a club, and sure, they don't have Nando, but they have some bodies. They have quality enough starting pitching. They went out and got themselves a closer they feel good about, and they have one of the better young sluggers in the game with Juan Soto and a legitimate finally came into his own and became a leader, Manny Machado. There's a lot of good things to like about it, but the outfield is really going to hold the key to the success of this team. But Dodgers are going to win it. It's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. Really hoping it's a sweep, but I just,
Yeah. My brain says 5 games.
My body!
But my body, can't see that guy anymore.
Don't cancel me.
My heart says 3 games. And I think Tyler Anderson goes out there, shoves in game 3. I think Trace Thompson gets a big home run.
Look at this guy.
I'm just trying to manifest.
He's got to change everything.
I'm trying to manifest, man. But no, look, I think that it's going to be a competitive series, but I still think that we've seen series that are competitive. Look at 2020. That still was a competitive series until game 3 that the Dodgers ended up sweeping. I think that the depth of the Dodgers bullpen, the rest, the depth of their lineup, I trust this team realizes the significance of this series, because you will not only go down as the team that set a franchise record with 111 wins, you would have lost to the Padres. Also, look at the success the Dodgers have had against the NL West in the postseason. Game 163, the Diamondbacks in 2017, the Padres, the Giants last season.
Went 5.
It went 5. Yeah. Look, Clint, trust me, I would not be shocked or surprised at all whatsoever if this series goes 5 because of, like you said, how hot the Padres are. But like I said, the pitching advantage is what I focus on the most. And look, this is going to be a rockin' Dodger Stadium crowd. It's going to be electric at the Ravine.
Home field advantage absolutely plays
5 home games, no matter what.
He brought it back. He brought it back.
I'm scared. You got me all scared. This is going 5 games now. I'm gonna have to call my doctor.
It's all good. If we go 5 games, you know what? This means we have to work harder and longer. So
That's
guys,
true.
make
More
sure
money.
you're
Let's go 5 games, bro. It's all about
Make
that
sure you
bread.
subscribe. No, your boy wants a break. It's my birthday next week. If they're playing on Monday, I'm gonna be mad. I think that would be game 5, right?
Yeah. So there's only one off day, so it's 3 consecutive days, and you're off Monday to you. No, but should we get some of these predictions out? What are your predictions? Let us know down below. I love this, by the way. Alberto Rodriguez win for Vin. Yeah, on top of everything else, Vin Scully. Got to give him that win. I think 5 games from Devon. I think 5 games from Devon. I just read the same comment twice. We got Dodgers in 4 after going down 1-0. Boomer Assassin, I think that's someone. Boomer Assassin's a guy who watches this team. Because that's the most Dodger thing ever. If they dropped the first game and then went on to win 3 straight. But yeah, if you're this Dodgers team, if the Padres are able to come in here and split those first 2 games, you're really looking at a coin flip series when you look at it. So you got to take care of business at home. This Dodger team, they have been working this entire year for this moment. The postseason is here. And this team, I think, is ready for a magical run. I really do.
You just got to win 1 game at a time. This is a Dodger team that is the best built we've ever seen to not let any moment get to them. You just keep on playing. You just keep on trucking. And you feel real good. Guys, this is going to be our Hornito's last question or final question of the stream because I didn't really have a thought, so I made it a question.
Game 5 is on Sunday. Game 5 is on Sunday.
Hell yeah.
So we're good. If they were good at 5. Dodgers at 4.
Thank you, producer Cody.
Nice.
Being the creepy
No,
sound.
what do you got? What's your prediction? Sweet?
Dodgers in 3.
Sweet
Noah,
blow? There
sweet.
we go.
I say
What do you got? Yeah.
Manny Machado, Avocado, Chevrolet Silverado, Dodgers in 4.
Yes.
All of those are sponsors, by the way. Guys, who's going to record the final out in this series? Of the Dodgers win, who's gonna be on the bump?
Tommy Conley.
Tommy Conley. You know,
Tommy
I'm going.
Conley.
It's probably going to be. It's going to be weird. I think Game 5 ends up being a blowout. I'm going David Price because why not?
DP?
We love DP.
Some of us do. But Anthony Keene says Dodgers in 3. It's time for Dodger baseball. That's from Think Blue. Rebecca says win for Vin. A lot of people saying Dodgers in 4. I feel like Dodgers in 4 makes sense, but to me it's either 3 or 5. This team, they need to go out there, and that Vin is the X factor. That might be the comment of the night. Trey says, who has a higher shot of closing, Walker Buehler or Hanser? Did you say that he's going to be throwing out the first pitch, Walker Buehler, or are you kidding?
Yeah, he's throwing out the first pitch on Tuesday. I mean, on Game 2, so Wednesday.
Why? I don't know about that.
He just wants to be involved. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be home with the wife.
Is that okay? Yeah, I mean, we all are that same.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
I would love to be home right now. That's where my couch lives.
Yeah.
That's where the Nintendo Switch lives. That's where my ice cream lives. It's a good time. Coming off a break, guys. My boy Mota brings that up. The last week of the season, the team looked tired. They needed the break. Hopefully, they ride the break and the 5 games off. And this time, they had a team building. And that, not that they needed it, but they went out to a nice team dinner, according to Freddie Freeman. They watched some of the wild card game happen. They had good times, drinks, laughs. He went home, went to bed, because that's what we all want to do. But, guys, we appreciate you. And thanks for the comments, as always. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got one more from Cody.
Also, if you're not going to the game and you're wondering what bars to check out for the postseason, go check our YouTube channel and check out our bar guide.
Check out our bar guide.
It's a great plug.
They put some really good work in on that bar guide. Stay tuned for Cody's fire hype video dropping tomorrow, ? Hopefully, probably, most likely. If not, we're gonna cut off his legs. I think that's the way it works. But guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Stay tuned with us again all postseason long. Pre-game, post-game. We're going to be bringing you shows in between series and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully riding right on up to a World Series championship. Get ourselves another fine piece of metal. Find us on the internet, DodgersNation.com. Go there, read all the stuff. Literally keeps the lights on. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Pandora, everywhere your podcasts are available for free. You could hear us there if you don't want to watch us. But if you do want to watch us, again, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. I am RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is DMac_. LA on Twitter and Instagram. One of the best follows you're ever going to find in the business.
Hey,
we are Dodgers Nation on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, sneaky Noah. What is it? It's just first name, last name. Follow. Make sure you're following Noah Cameras. Don't follow Cody because he doesn't have any sort of social media presence or care about it. But thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you all October. Bye.